Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to the Parafair today. And today's story is, are you getting way too distracted with other things to accomplish your main thing? So here, as we hear our story and we listen to our story, interesting story, as I always say to myself, and how I'm learning more and more about not getting distracted. And we'll talk about some things that we agree with, some things that were kind of confusing, and some things that, just really stood out to us. So let's listen to our story. We will be right back with you.
There was once a man who was a devoted disciple of a holy man. He served this holy man well. After serving the holy man, he would go for long walks in the beautiful countryside, and he would get so much pleasure from doing so. One day after serving his master, he decided to go for a walk using a different route. While on this new route, he came across a town. He thought to himself, this looks like an interesting place. He proceeded to walk through the town. As he went through this town, he saw things that he had never seen before. He saw luxurious clothing and furniture, he smelt foods that he had never smelt before, he saw priceless jewelry that shone like the stars. He also saw beautiful women that were dressed in fine clothing. They were very friendly towards him. He was amazed by what he saw, and he also liked what he saw. Eventually, he passed the town and proceeded to find his master. All the while he was thinking about what he had seen. A strange feeling of guilt came over him. Upon reaching his master's house, he ran up to him and told him what he had seen. He said that he was feeling guilty that he found these things pleasurable, but at the same time he couldn't stop thinking about them. He asked his master what he should do. The master said, "I want you to go through this town again, but this time I want you to take this candle. I want you to walk through this town with this candle without spilling one drop of wax onto the floor. If you spill one drop, my servant here," he pointed to a big man holding a long sharp sword, "will chop your head off. Now go." He obeyed his master and set off. He got to the town and proceeded to walk through holding the candle. The big man was right behind him, watching his every move. The servant walked through the whole of the town, careful not to spill a drop. He successfully completed his mission. He did not spill a drop. He went back to his master and told him the news. The master said, "Well?" The servant replied, "Master, I did not spill a drop." The master said, "As you walked through the town, did you see what you saw before?" The servant replied, "No, master, I was too worried about my life. If my sight wandered from the candle, I would have spilled a drop and he would have chopped my head off." The master smiled and said to his disciple, "This is how you should live your life, my friend. Death is following you around wherever you go. It is easy to forget and get distracted. As soon as you forget, you could be dead. That candle is your focus. If you focus in life, then death cannot harm you. Realize this, my child, and you will have the key to immortality."
Welcome back from our story. As I listened to our story, and it kind of puts things in perspective for me, and how I have to have a little bit more focus in what I'm doing. Because what happens is I get really distracted sometimes, and I forget to do certain things. I have so many things going on, and so many things are trying to grab your attention and trying to grab what you're doing, what you're saying, and how you're doing it. I know recently myself, I got a new venture to go out on, and it's just like anything in life. It's like a pie. We have a pie, and there's so many slices in that pie in your day that you can use your time. And I realized that when I first get new things that come upon me, they seem to consume a lot of my time because I haven't figured out how to incorporate them into my life just yet. I only have, so much time in each day to get these things done. But as I have realized, I have to be smart about it. I have to be really smart about it, incorporating these new things. I can do these new things, but I have to be really smart about how I do these things, and I don't get distracted with my main focus. The main focus is as I look at things I need to get done every day. Every day I have to get certain things done, but I can't get too distracted. I can't get wayward with certain things that I'm doing. And sometimes when you look at certain things, they look very attractive and they get you away from certain things, and you lose your laser-like focus. And a lot of times, every day, you're going to have the opportunity to regain your laser-like focus, because what happens is your brain will start drifting away from your main focus. I know myself, as I looked at our podcast and I thought about the podcast as it's getting bigger and better and better and better. What happens is you start taking it for granted. You start taking things for granted and you start losing your focus. As I looked at some of the viewerships that I'm getting from around the world, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm really doing okay, but I can't get comfortable. I still have to stay a lot more focused on what I'm doing. And to get bigger and better and bigger and bigger and be the best, you're going to have to incorporate and you're going to have to maintain that laser-like focus. And with that laser-like focus, that means there's some things that you just can't do. There's some things that are going to try to distract you, but you just can't do at that certain time. And it's okay. It is okay to try to move the things out, because if they're not in front of your goal and they're not where you want to be in 5 years or 2 years or whatever you want to be, it's just a simple distraction to get you away from your goal. I know many times that we would travel across the country and my father and my mother and my sister would drive. And my dad, one thing I learned from my dad and my mom is they were very focused on getting us from point A to point B. Anything in the middle, they enjoyed, but they really didn't give it too much time. And I remember traveling across country, and I remember asking my dad, who was going to Arizona, and I was like, hey, can we stop at the Grand Canyon? He's like, no, not this time, son, because we got to get to California by a certain time, because certain people are expecting you to be here, and you don't want to let them down. And I was kind of mad because I didn't get to see the Grand Canyon. I'm like, wow, but it's right here. What's the big deal? They'll understand that we. He's like, no, you got to stay here. You just got to keep focused. And that's what happens a lot of times with us in life, is we don't stay focused enough. Everything that comes up and we think it's great for us and it's popular, but it's not maintaining your focus. It's not maintaining your focus. And as I look and as I think about certain things that I need to focus on and I need to get distracted by, and we have so many things now to distract us from getting our work done. I know lately, just sitting down and concentrating on what I need to do has been kind of hard, because we have all these things that want our attention. We have the computer that, the greatest and the latest news is popping up. We have Alexa who wants to communicate and talk with us. We have our smartphone who wants to constantly remind us that people need your attention. People want answers from you. When they send you a text message, they will distract you a little bit. And as I get text messages and as I record, I have to realize that's not my priority right now. My priority is not to answer that text message. So what I do is put a do not disturb sign on, because I have to maintain that laser-like focus. And as you look around at your friends, you look around at your spouses, your partners, think about the people that are really laser-like focused on everything they do. They may seem boring to you, right? Sometimes you're like, man, just let loose, or come on, girl, let's go have a good time. And think about the people who are really just distracted with everything that happens. Always want to have a good time, but don't worry about things too much. I see these people a lot, and I feel bad for them that they don't have the laser-like focus. But then again, I have to remind myself that's a reminder that you need to get a kick in your butt and focus on what you need to do. You can't be sloppy about life. And one thing I agree about in the story is, like he said, how you have to act like someone's behind you all the time, walking behind you. And if you make a mistake, that's it for you. And you will remain laser-like focused. But what happens is we take a lot of stuff for granted. We say, it's okay. I need to go do this now. No, you need to take care of this, and this. last week I had the same opportunity. I had all these little things. I had these financial obligations I had to take care of. And I had this financial obligation I had to take care of by the end of the month. But I've been taking care of it little by little. I've been focused on every week, pay a little part of it. And I'm almost down to like the last 3 payments of it. And I told myself, and it's been hard because the money I've been using, I've been like, wow, I miss it. But then again, I'm not going to miss that bill at the end of the month when I have to write that bigger check instead of writing the smaller checks, because I've been focused on there's a certain number that I pay every week. And it's been helping me a lot. Instead of writing a big check, I write a small check. And I had to maintain that laser-like focus. And what I did was I made sure that I had my envelope, I had enough stamps, I had the checks, I had the money in the bank, and I just pushed it aside. And I said, okay, it's a lot easier. In 3 weeks, when it's done, I'm like, wow, that wasn't really hard. A lot of times when you're going through stuff and you're not focused on things will seem hard because they're going to surprise you. They're going to surprise you a lot. And as I look at that story and I was reminded of that story, how he sent his servant after, just follow him around. He said, anything that drops, we're gonna chop your head off. And you have to maintain that focus in life. You have to maintain that razor-like focus. I know as I go into my next venture in the next couple months, I have to maintain my focus. I can't get comfortable. When I get comfortable, I do get sloppy. I do get very sloppy. And I realize with my workflow and the things that I have to do every day, all day, there's some days I want to just watch TV all day. But will that get that podcast out there? No. Will that be able to buy you new equipment in your laundromat or whatever you're doing? Cut that out. Will that be able to buy new things for your business? No. Will that be able to provide things for your family? If you sit there and watch TV and watch YouTube and you watch this and you get distracted, you get nothing done. As I reflect on my life, I'm thinking about sometimes, especially in high school and middle school, how I have to remind myself there are some times in high school and middle school and college, I was not laser-like focused. I'm thinking about the people who were laser-like focused in high school and middle school and college. For a while, we used to laugh at them a lot because it didn't matter. I remember in the cafeteria, there was this one guy and this girl, and they're at this table. And usually at lunch, everyone was talking and just goofing off and whatever. But they always had their books out. And they were always doing notes. They're doing extra problems. They were in the same classes, but they were doing extra stuff. And they were eating. Looking, eating, studying, eating. And they were focused. There was all this noise that's going on in the cafeteria. But they never, ever looked up and tried to join into a conversation. They were focused on what they're doing. And then when we got back to the classroom, instead of like embracing like, wow, that's what we should be doing, and they were getting all the answers correct because they were working at it, we kind of laughed at those people. It's like, well, they're just, this and this and that. But it's not fair to give people that label because they're working hard. And I talk to people about this all the time, about working hard and doing the best that you can each and every day. And I know it's not easy for some people. I know it's not easy for me to stay focused 24 hours a day, and it's okay. The main thing is, like I said, get your stuff done. Today, I had to do a lot of little things to stay focused on what I needed to do. And the thing is, as I had a list of things that I needed to do, there's other things that were distracting me at the time. I had to solve this problem, but it wasn't really my problem, it was somebody else's problem. But it was my problem, and I was getting distracted. And that's what happens in life. You're going to have problems, but you got to have solutions. So I was talking to someone today. They said, you know what? You may not get it the first time, but you'll eventually get it because you're not going to give up. You're not going to give up. I know lately I had this problem with the sink. It was clogged up. It's a big old nasty clog that was in it. And I have the snakes. I have the big snakes to run down the drain and get it. I have the brushes and the things you put in there to blow it out and to make sure that it's clean. But somehow or another, it was not. I worked on it for like 2 days, and the water still was not going down. So it was kind of frustrating at the time. But I told myself, I said, remember, It's all about being patient. You got to be patient. And I said, let's get your snake out your truck, put your snake down the pipe. I said, if it takes you 6-7 hours, but it's not going to take you 6-7 hours, but you just be patient. And so I started digging, and it wouldn't go through. It wouldn't go through. Wouldn't go through. Bring it back up, clean out the snake. I was like, oh, look at this, it's nasty. Wipe it off, put it back down there. Wouldn't go through. Wouldn't go through. But it was getting further and further down there. Kept putting the snake down there. Eventually, just the wire kept going deeper and deeper and deeper into the pipe until I eventually ran out of wire. And I said, wow, that's a big difference. That's all the way down there now. So then the people that, they're like, wow, you did it, huh? You got the clog out. They go, man, I didn't think you were able to get that out. And I like what they said. They doubted me a little bit. When people doubt you a little bit, that's when you're motivated, because they said, I don't think you're going to get it out. You might have to call the professionals in. You might have to call them in and let them take care of this, because it might be way over you. I said, it's a wire. I told myself it's a wire down a tube, down a pipe, and all you're doing is turning it. How hard could that be? I said, it's effort. Put the effort into it and you'll get it done. Put the effort into it and you'll solve a lot of things. A lot of the problems that we have, if we put the effort in, everything's going to be fine. But if you don't put the effort in, you don't put the time in, don't expect things. And as you stay focused on what you need to do, and as I look back at our story again, the master told him, I don't want a drop of candle wax dropping. And that's what we have to do. You don't want any candle and dirt and stuff all over the place. Just go, sit down, focus on what you need to do, get it done, and then go have a good time. But if you're just so busy doing other things, you're not going to be able to have a good time. You're going to have a whole bunch of problems. So as we go and as we walk out today, I want to thank everyone for listening to our podcast. And as we encourage you to get bigger and better and stronger, just remember, continue having that laser-like focus, and you're going to get distracted. That's just part of life. That's part of life, and you're going to get distracted, but you got to realize you got to bring yourself back. Bring yourself back. Think about what you need to get done, and get back and do it. Okay? Well, thank you again for joining us on the Parafair, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.